Yeah, she dropped this while I was PMSing. Do you know the emotional wreck I was? I don't know what I just rolled over. How does this chair work? I've only owned it for a year. The framing seems right. Well, hello, I'm Erica, I am Autumn, and welcome to the first debriefing of the Tortured Poets department. My chair spins, I'm gonna do this the whole time. I need to talk about this right now so I can think about other things. I need to word vomit this out. Whatever you're seeing, it's a very condensed version of what's about to happen. The entire vlog is not going to be only this sit down about the Tortured Poets department. If you don't want to talk about the new T Swift album and you just want to skip forward in the vlog, totally get it. Have a good one, please subscribe. But as we know, I am a Swiftie. I have loved Taylor Swift forever and a day. When her first songs came out, I was listening to them. I've been a fan since day one. I actually got to see her during her first Fearless tour. And yes, the Fearless tour was as magical as you would hope. I'm also want to state right now I'm very nauseous. So if I burp or hiccup, ignore it. Know what I mean? So Miss Swift, today, April 19th, at midnight, released the Tortured Poets department. I'm going to refer to it as Tortured Poets from now on because it's a real long title and I keep saying Dead Poets Society. And at 2 a.m. when I was asleep because I work and I thought that okay, cool, I listened to the album, awesome, I did it. No, 2 a.m. she releases part 2. And I just want to state right now before we get into the songs that I want to talk about, because I only want to talk about 2 of them, because if I talk about all 30, this video will be a million years long, and we got more stuff to do in this vlog. So I saw her little display. I don't know if it was in New York or where it was, but I know that a few TikTokers went there and it was this big display of a bookshelf with the Tortured Poets department logo for the album, and I noticed something in there, that there was a hand with a peace sign like this. And then I noticed that all of her candles were placed 2 at a time. There was never a single candle alone, always 2 candles. Now, based off of just that, I was like, it's gonna be a double album. I don't know when we're gonna get it. We may get it in 6 months, we may get it in a year. Nope, 2 a.m. last night. And you know what? I should have known with her promo video of her going from the Midnight's room into the Tortured Poets department. The clock said 2 a.m. in every room in the promo. So I should have known that at 2 a.m. something was going to happen. But I thought it was just an indicator of there's 2 albums, it's a deluxe album. Nope. She released it at 2 a.m. I should have seen that coming, but then again, Miss Swift is all about Easter eggs. There's some in there that I'm sure I haven't even seen yet. I haven't even seen the music video yet. I'm sure I'll talk about that tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about this album while it's still fresh in my mind. And again, if I don't talk about this, I'm not going to get anything done for today, so just bear with me. The 2 songs that I personally want to talk about are as follows: The Tortured Poets Department, the track, and Thank You, Amy. Those are the 2 tracks I will be focusing on. They are my favorites. They have been on repeat. I'm sure I'll have more opinions as life goes on, and I listen to all of them repeatedly, but those are the 2 right now that I'm hyper fixated on, so let's talk about it. Let's get Thank You, Amy out of the way because I feel it's a little bit lighter and I might not go into as much depth as I'm going to with the Tortured Poets department track. I mean, first of all, the fact that the title spells out Kim with the letters capitalized right off the bat, love it. I saw the title and I immediately was like, okay, so this one's gonna be a favorite of mine, because I have an Amy in my life, as we know, that loves to try and spread lies about me, talk about me on the internet. Any chance that she gets, she, for the past 4 years, has been trying to spread just very untrue things about me because I told the truth about her. Very Kim Kardashian of her. Probably the only thing those 2 have in common. I have to say, when you have an Amy in your life, because I'm gonna refer to it as that because that's the title of the song. When you have an Amy in your life, it's very much the lyrics ring so true. Obviously, we have references to Kim Kardashian, right? Specifically to Kim Kardashian. There's a bronze spray tan statue of you. And obviously, everyone knows that my mother is a saintly woman. Kim's kid is named Saint. So little play on words there. But the verses that really spoke to me were the later verses where she said, I wrote 1,000 songs you find uncool, but I built a legacy of which you can't undo, which I can very much relate as to where people have tried to tarnish my reputation by spreading lies. And it's just sort of if you watch my content, I am myself. You know who I am. I'm very upfront. And it's pretty easy, I think, to see through those lies that they're trying to spread. Within 5 minutes of researching my content, you can be like, oh, no, she did completely lie, I got it. But when I count the scars, there's a moment of truth that there wouldn't be this if there hadn't been you. So when my miscarriage got exposed, it was sort of like for me reliving it all over again, because when I had my miscarriage, I had just been broken up with and I didn't even really know that I was pregnant until I was miscarrying. I had a test that it was negative and then the next day it was positive. But I know they say like don't look at it. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not. And then I went to the doctor and they were like, sis, bad news. So sorry. And I was like, okay, well, don't like feeling this out of control. It's very weird. And so I did not have a good sense of control over my life when that was happening. And I think a lot of women can relate to that when they have miscarriages, is like you don't feel like you have any sort of control and you feel like everything's out of control and it's just devastating and it's horrible. Because I can say with confidence right now I would not have a kid either way. But my feelings are still valid to the fact that one of the hardest parts was not having that decision and having that decision made for me by nature. And then when my miscarriage got exposed, it was sort of that all over again, which it wasn't nature deciding, it was somebody else deciding and saying, you know what, I need this validation that I'm right, so I'm just gonna put her miscarriage out there and not blur her name in one of the messages. And so then everybody knows who it is. And it's not cute. It wasn't a cute move. And I understand going through grief at the time, but also you are so responsible for your actions when you are grieving. To this day, never gotten an apology for it. And so when I went through that, it was very much like I felt very out of control again, and I literally vomited because I was so upset that it was happening. I got that physically upset. And I didn't talk about that much in my original video just because even when I watch that video, I'm trying so hard to not disassociate in that video. You can tell I'm speaking very differently than I normally do in all of my videos, just because I'm like trying to get the proper words out without heavily disassociating and like having it not make sense. And even after all that, I'm still being mocked and bullied by this person because apparently she has nothing better to do. But I digress. So when I read that line, there wouldn't be this if there hadn't been you, I am not okay with the fact that my miscarriage got exposed. Still haven't gotten a sincere apology from her. But I can't negate the fact that when I decided to take back my power and talk about my miscarriage being exposed and my miscarriage and laying all the facts and the screenshots on the line, that it did connect me with this sort of community of other women being like, I was in the same position, and like, these are like DMs, so I'm not gonna like get too specific because I don't want people to feel the way I did, but people had DM'd me and said, you know, your video really helped me, and I was in the same position as you where like unexpected and unwanted pregnancy, but I have all these mixed emotions, and just thank you for talking about that aspect. And then there's people like me where you didn't want to be pregnant, you weren't gonna have it either way, but your body made the decision before you could, and that's a very conflicting feeling. I'm glad that my reality could help somebody out there. I can't negate the fact that that is the only positive that came out of that happening. I really liked that lyric because of it. And then the bridge, have to say, my favorite part. And maybe you've reframed it, and in your mind, you never beat my spirit black and blue. I don't think you've changed much, so I changed your name and any real defining clues. Yeah. In these people's minds, like, they really did nothing wrong. They really have convinced themselves that they were in the right. All the time you were throwing punches and I was building something. Everyone that tries to take me down and tries to keep me quiet about the things that I've been through and my truth on situations that I've experienced and lived through, keep throwing stones, because I'm going to keep building. I'm going to keep going and being honest and living my life and building my future that I'm happy in. I can genuinely say I'm very happy with myself and who I am. And I think a lot of those people that have tried to spread lies about me throughout the years aren't happy with themselves. Thank you, Amy. Really spoke to me. I love a good petty moment. Okay, so now let's talk about the big one, which is, I mean, it's big in its own right simply because it's the album title, you know, with the Tortured Poets Department song. So it's definitely like, I think of some things I will never say, like who uses typewriters anyway, but you're in self-sabotage mode, throwing spikes on the road. But I've seen this episode and still love the show, so who else decodes you? This entire song, and it's pretty repetitive like that. And then it talks about the good moments of like, I scratch your head and you fall asleep. Who's gonna hold you like me? Who's gonna love you like me? Same with like, you told Lucy you would yourself if I ever leave. With my ex-boyfriends, I'm trying to think of a nice term. I've never had to do this before. A spirited bunch. We'll go with spirited, a spirited bunch, my ex-boyfriends. I have had several during the breakup threaten to themselves, right? Which, by the way, is emotional manipulation. You need to call their family members and you need to call the police and keep yourself away from them and stand firm on your grounds at the breakup. Because once you get the police and the family involved, it's sort of, that's all you can do. What are you going to do? Stay miserable with them for the rest of your life because they emotionally manipulated you? I think not. When it came to my exes, especially the lines of like, who else is going to decode you? I can see that you're in self-sabotage mode, but I know what to do and all this different stuff. It's like, my longest relationship was about 3 years. It was on and off. It went from being in a serious relationship. It was the guy who I got pregnant with. We were together. We broke up. We went to something casual, and then we went to an open relationship, and then we went to seriously dating. And all of that was through emotional warfare. We were not good to each other. We weren't happy. He does try to text me every now and then when he's drunk, and he's drunk a lot, of just like, I've changed this and that, and I had to spell out for him, you know, I was with you because I didn't like myself because you made me not like myself. That was the only reason I stayed with you as long as I did. And I thought that when you love somebody, you put your all into it, and you do fight, and you do go through these things, and you do to an extent. But loving somebody shouldn't be that hard. You shouldn't have to deal and learn how to dodge emotional from somebody just to be with them. That's not love. Love that is real should be as easy as breathing. Yes, you fight. Yes, you have times that you don't like each other and you don't talk to each other and you're upset with each other or you're sad about something that the other person did, but it shouldn't be volatile, and you shouldn't have to completely change how you live your life and emotionally regulate yourself in order to fit somebody else. That's not love, right? And I think this song really describes it well, of when you leave somebody like that, where it's like, whoa, now that I'm gone, who's gonna hold you? Who's gonna love you? Because you were that for that person for so long that you're like, but they're not gonna be okay if I leave. They're gonna get upset, they're gonna get angry, they're gonna self-sabotage, they're gonna be mean to their friends. Like, it's like, I can't leave because I need to be there for them so that they don't implode their life. And that's not healthy, and that's not love, and that's not a fair way for you to live. So if you're in something that sounds very similar to what I just described, you need to get out. That's not love. With my ex, it was very much like, it's okay. I know that this is true love because I know all about how to calm him down. When he gets really irrational, he starts screaming and he tries to fight his sibling and is screaming in my face and all of these different things. It's true love because I know how to take him out of that. And it's not, sis. Wake up. If I could go back and just backhand my 19-year-old self, I would love to, because that's when I started dating that man the first time. And I think that this album really encapsulates when you get out of that really terrible relationship that you didn't even know was that terrible while you were in it, because you're in the thick of it. You are like, head down, charge forward, we can get through this. It's so like eye-opening that once the relationship finally ends, you're like, now we go through the process of like, finally it happened. Process of a really long relationship like that ending is so emotionally taxing. And I think that especially the first 15 songs of the album that she released at midnight really encapsulate that. And then I think the 15 that she released after, which are my favorite 15 right off the bat. I love ones from the first one, but like when that one dropped, I was like, oh, okay, this is it. Like, let's go. The second half, the anthology, really encapsulates like, okay, I have processed this really, really sad mourning period of losing this long-term relationship, and I've started living life again, and here's everything that I've evaluated, and also like, here's a stray little slap in the face to Kim Kardashian. I love that song. I love that song. You can't make me hate that song. Like, let's talk about these men that I love and these men that I dated in between that were just awful, but also like hot. And then let's talk about this new guy that I've found that treats me better. It's a masterpiece. The album's a masterpiece. I would say it's one of her best. Reputation is my favorite album, for anybody wondering. This is my second favorite album ever. Oh my god, don't puke, don't puke, don't puke. I'm PMSing, so I'm like nauseous. Yeah, she dropped this while I was PMSing. Do you know the emotional wreck I was? Anyways, it was just so good. Anyways, I'm gonna check in with you guys tomorrow. We're gonna go on some adventures. But I just need to get that off of my chest. The album. fantastic. I just ate something orange, so if my teeth look a little bit yellow or you see orange in my teeth, no you don't. I am on my way to go see my beautiful, lovely bestie, Riley. We are just hanging out. I don't know what we're doing. We might go get a coffee. We might just hang out at her house. That's the thing about being an adult is like, life is so busy. The older you get, you get to see your friends less and less, even when they live so close. She and I have just been crazy busy like we always are, so I'm glad that we can finally get together. She like never has weekends off because she's been working so hard. Okay, so I forgot to tell you guys when I was at the house, I was sleeping the other night. Just a little CPTSD insomnia diaries for you. I was sleeping the other night. We had a huge thunderstorm, and one thing about me, I actually sleep with thunderstorm sounds on my Alexa. It just helps me sleep better. I was sleeping and there was an actual thunderstorm happening outside, and it was waking me up because it was so loud and it was such a violent storm, which we do get some bad storms out here, so it's not that shocking. But on one half of my wall, the other half of my wall, oh really? F you. Sorry, dude, just cut me off. One half of my wall was completely fine, like with my shelves, everything's still on it, but the other half of my wall, everything literally exploded off of it and fell onto my desk. And like my laptop's fine, my Kindle is fine, everything on my desk is fine, but it was so strange that everything just like fell off of that one part of my wall. One thing about me, my last relationship ended very, very badly. I still can't talk about it for my own safety. So when that happened, when there was this huge explosion in my room and everything falling off the shelf, when I woke up, my mind immediately went, he's breaking in. This is it, he's breaking in. And then when I turned my flashlight on and I saw no one in the room, I was like, okay, hail just came through my window, because it sounded like glass shattering. I was like, hail just came through my window. I look at my windows are totally fine. Everything just mysteriously fell, and like the nails were ripped out of the wall. It was the weirdest thing. I don't think it was anything supernatural per se, but I think that like the vibration of the thunder just really like shook all that stuff off. And like the shelves I have on my wall are still up because I secured them. I think significantly better than the other ones. The other ones were just kind of like hung up nicely. They don't have a lot of weight like shelves do. So that's probably a massive part of it, but it was so weird. And I've been just telling people all week before Tortured Poets Department came out, I was like, this is Taylor. She's preparing me for something. I don't know what, but she's preparing me for it. She's getting stronger as the release date comes up because she's controlling the weather. And I stand by that.
Really? Yeah, I did. He likes to wear it.
All's fair in love and poetry. I keep forgetting my f***ing reusable straws. I feel so bad. What is that? Okay, so before I end this vlog, by the way, if you hear any like loud noises, there's an action movie playing in the next room. Everything here completely fell off the wall. Like, a big one was like my pin board that fell. So that was the majority of the noise, but also how cute is this like little onesie I got? It's like so simple, yet I had a blast with Riley. We went record shopping, we got coffees, we like went in this cute little like new bakery that opened up, and that's where that cute sign was. Like, it was so f***ing adorable. And I talked to the owner and she has gluten-free stuff available, but she had just like run out that week, which like no big deal. I got my gluten-free coffee cake from the coffee company anyway, so I wasn't heartbroken about it. That little bakery is so f***ing cute. I couldn't stand how adorable that backdrop was. Oh my god. But I'm just gonna go ahead and have some dinner and enjoy the rest of my night because I have to edit this and get this out because I'm editing kind of late in the week. If you listen to the Tortured Poets Department, tell me which song was your favorite, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.